said, my name is Tavon Parker. I was born and raised here in York, Pennsylvania, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys today. Because like I said, I know you guys learned a lot of stuff from the drugs, from the financial stuff, from the healthy relationships. But what I realized in my life is it's not exactly what you know, it's more about what you apply. Right, and I'm pretty sure that as parents we can attest to this, but I close my eyes and sometimes I realize that we live in a generation where it's not necessarily do as I do, it's more do what I say. Right, so we have a situation where somebody tells you that you should do this, you should go to school, you shouldn't do drugs, and then when you go to your house, you see people doing things that don't necessarily align with what they're saying. Right, and of course I'm not accusing any of you guys of this, but I do work with a lot of kids. So to give you guys some background on myself, because I like people to know who I am before I start talking to them. Like I said, I was born and raised here in York, Pennsylvania. I went to York High, which is right down the street. Are any of you guys, are you guys in high school? Yes. No. What grade are you in? 6? 7? All right, so do you go to, what school do you go to? Central? Where?
Cottonville, Maryland.
One of my favorite restaurants is in Cottonville. You ever been to Popeyes?
Yeah.
I love Popeyes. So I grew up here in York, and I went to York City School District, and when I graduated, I was so excited because I was a 1,000-point scorer. See, I played basketball and I played football. I'm more like basketball because I won't lie to you. When I played football, they hit me on my head and I got a concussion and I used to be dizzy and stuff. So my wife tells me I'm crazy. Don't believe anything my wife says most times, or my daughter. but I like basketball more. So I was a 1,000-point scorer. And I got a scholarship to go to college. So how many of you guys want to go to college? All of you guys. All right, well that's good. Because most of the time when I ask kids, what do you want to do or what do you want to be in the future, most of them say they don't even know. And there's nothing worse than not knowing, because if you don't have a plan for your life, I promise you somebody has a plan for you. Right, so I was like, man, I want to go to college. My brother went D1, I want to go D1. And then my senior year, my brother was like, yo, I'm going to transfer to Millersville. We can both go to Millersville. We can play basketball together. See, when me and my brother was in high school, we played at York High. We won a district championship. We won a county championship. We both was doing so well. Actually, to this day, we're the only brothers that are 1,000-point scorers in York High. So if you guys ever go to York High's gym and look up on the board, you'll see Tavon Parker, you'll see Tavon Parker. But what I learned is, as an adult, right, and I'm not that old. If you look around, okay, don't look around. I'm not that old, right? I'm 28, so I graduated in 2013, which is like about 10 years ago. Which is about 10 years ago, right? So when I graduated, the only thing I wanted to do was go to college and play basketball. But when I got to college, I quickly learned basketball isn't a major. Right, you can go to college and want to play basketball and do great on the basketball court, but if you're not doing good in school, all of a sudden the two things don't correlate. Right, I was doing great in basketball, but I wasn't doing great in school. And in 2 short years, 2 years, you guys think 2 years is a long time? No? Yes? No? Go over there with your mouth. Go over there with your mouth. So I thought 2 years was a long time. Right? And I'll tell you why I thought 2 years was a long time in a second. But when I was in college, in 2 short years, I ended up losing my scholarship because the basketball team had the worst GPA out of all the sports on the college campus. Right? They had field hockey, they had lacrosse, girls basketball, boys basketball, swimming, tennis. They had all these sports, and the basketball had the lowest GPA. So the coach called me to his office one day and said, hey, we have to raise our team GPA, and the easiest way to raise the GPA is to get rid of everybody with low GPA. So I fell in that category. Because what I realized now that I didn't know then was your grades are more important than the basketball. Right? When I talk to kids, and I ask kids, I did this thing at my nonprofit and asked kids what makes them feel powerful, because there's some kids where if they have a gun in their hand, they feel real powerful. But then those same people go to jail and all of a sudden they won't even talk. Right? Some people, when drugs make them feel powerful, but when they don't have drugs, they can't even think. Right? There's some people where an education makes them feel powerful. There's some people where social media, you guys be talking? Y'all be on TikTok? Snapchat? Some people, social media, they'll have a lot to say on social media, and then all of a sudden, off social media, you'll be like, yo, I thought you they're not the same person. Right? So there's a lot of stuff that people can take from you in this thing called life, but one thing that stays with you forever is your education. But I didn't understand that when I went to college, so I was more focused on basketball, I was more focused on having fun, I was more focused on everything else other than my education. And guess what? They kicked me out in 2 short years, and I didn't know what to do. So when I ask people, what is it that you want to do with your life, and people say they don't know, I get really afraid for that, because if you don't know what you want to do, or the one thing that you want to do, you end up failing at, all of a sudden you'll find yourself in a situation where there's uncertainty. Right, and as a 28-year-old, I can tell you, you can ask your parents, you can ask everybody here, because there's only one thing that's guaranteed in this life, and that's at some point, all of us are going to go through some type of opposition, adversity, struggle, or some uncertainty. Right, but Martin Luther King said you judge a person in the midst of adversity, not judge a person when everything is going well. So what I learned was, when you're going through adversity, if you use that adversity, it can build your character, and it can turn you and propel you into something that you never even thought that you could be. So now as an adult, when I go through tough situations or I go through uncertainty, I get excited because I know that's going to propel me to somewhere that I never would have gotten without that thing. But when I was in college and I went through that adversity and I lost my scholarship, I didn't know what to do. So I did what everybody that doesn't know what to do does. I came back to something that was familiar, right? Something that was safe. I came back to Europe and I started selling drugs and running around with a bunch of people that either never wanted to go to college, never been to college, and never thought about college. See, what I learned is the people that you surround yourself with, they can either help you sink or they can help you swim. Right? They can help you take off like an airplane or they can help drive you like an anchor. So I want you guys to do this thing, right? Just think about, do your friends really want to be successful, or do they really want you to be successful? Because if the people that you hang around that you call friends, if they smoke, if they drink, if they skip school, if they don't care about their future, if they don't listen to their parents, the reality is they're going to try to talk you into doing that same exact thing. And what I did, right, because I really wanted to be so successful in my life, so I started studying successful people. Right, so do you guys know who Michael Jordan is? Yes? How do you know who Michael Jordan is? You met him? I didn't think so. So Michael Jordan, who else? You guys know who Serena Williams is? No, Serena Williams, she plays tennis. All right, here goes. Do you guys know Justin Bieber?
Yes.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. All right, Justin Bieber. Do you guys know Beyonce?
Yeah.
All right, so Beyonce, who else? Do you guys know Jalen Hurts? He's an Eagles quarterback. Eagles is probably the best team in the NFL. You got Eagle fans? All right, here we go. So what do all 5 of them have in common? Right, because some play basketball, some play football, some sing, some rap. So it's not their talent that they have in common. When I was studying successful people, all 5 of those people literally grew up and listened to their parents. Right, because a lot of times I know, listen to your parents, that's not the cool thing to do, right? My mom was crazy when I grew up. She found her mom down. When I was growing up, she was crazy. I couldn't listen to her. Everything she said wasn't true. And then I grew up and I look back and I was like, wow, she was right. Right? So when I look at the Beyoncés and I look at the Justin Biebers and I realize that these people are successful because they listen to their parents, I started thinking, what if more young people actually listen to their parents? Right, because I'm pretty sure if I wasn't in this room, my daughter would tell you that I'm crazy and her mom is crazy. But since I'm here, she won't tell you guys that, because maybe your parents will say it, I will. You guys are a little bit crazy. Right? Everybody got a little bit crazy in them. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I've learned is that people that are able to listen to their parents are able to be obedient to their calling. Right? Because I'm a firm believer that everybody is blessed with a gift. Right? Do you guys think you have a gift? Is it Anaya? I said it right? I get really happy when I say names right, because I'll butcher people's names. Anaya, do you think you have a gift? Maybe? I'll take a maybe. Do you think you have a gift? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes? 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 All right, I love it. Because what I've learned is everybody is blessed with a gift. When people say they don't have a gift, the easiest way to explain it is your gift is what comes easy to you that's hard for other people. Right, believe it or not, there's some people that they can draw a picture of my face right now as I talk. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. Right, there's some people that they can play basketball and they're really good at it. There's some people that can play football, they're really good at it. There's some people whose gift is just helping other people. Right, but everybody has a gift. And when you learn what your gift is, you can tap in and hone your gift and start honoring your craft, and all of a sudden, your gift will start making way for you. What God blessed you with will start making room for you, and doors will start opening, people will start helping you, and things will start happening that you never even thought would happen. Right, but when you disrespect your gift, you act like instead of honoring your gift, you act like you're God's gift to this earth. God will humble you and he'll take that thing right from you. Right, there's a reason I lost my scholarship. It wasn't because I wasn't good at basketball. It was because I didn't honor basketball. I didn't honor school. I didn't honor the opportunity. Right, so what I've learned is a lot of times as kids growing up, there's things that were given from our parents, there's things that were given from school, there's opportunities that were given, but because we think that we're the big doo-doo, we end up doo-dooing on our gift. And that's the nice way to say it because I try not to cuss, but the reality is a lot of times we think that we're bigger than what we really are. So sometimes we have to get humble. And when I came home and I started selling drugs, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there's only one thing, well, there's two things that come with the streets, death or jail. Right, so in 14 short months, well, I won't say 14 short months because I went to jail for 14 months, but I was selling drugs for like 2 or 3 years. And I got arrested this first time, and I know some of you guys probably think like this because the first time I got arrested, I was like, you know what? I got arrested because I pulled over. I will never pull over again. Right, I'm smarter than that. I will never get arrested again. And the first time I got arrested, I had a quarter pound of weed in my back seat, and I had a gun on my lap. And the police officer pulled me over, and I'll never forget because I called my wife, well, she was my girlfriend at the time, but I called her and I said, I need you to bail me out. And I'm glad she did bail me out, because if she didn't, I probably wouldn't be here today. I guess she really loves me. If you guys don't know, this is my high school sweetheart. Me and her went to high school together, and when we first met, she was just head over heels for me. And that's where we came down. But the reality was, if she didn't do that for me, right, we all have this thing that we call a support system, right? Somebody, if you're in trouble, you have somebody that you can call, you have somebody that you can lean on. So I called her, she came and bailed me out, and she said, you gotta stop. And I said, I gotta make the money back. And I continued to sell drugs, and within another year, I found myself arrested again, but this time I was on probation. Right, and you remember what I said? I said I was smarter this time, so I knew I only got arrested because I got pulled over. So I went to take off when the cop got behind me, but another cop cut me off, and guess what I had in the car? A quarter pound of weed and a gun in my lap. The same exact charges. And I went to jail. And when I went to jail, this is what I learned, right? Because if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're bound to repeat them. Right? If you get in trouble for sneaking out, you sneak out again, you're probably getting more trouble. If you get in trouble for using drugs and you use drugs again, you're probably getting more trouble. Right? When you repeat the same thing, worse things happen. So I ended up going to jail, and I went to jail for 14 months, and that was the worst 14 months of my life because when I got arrested, I'll never forget because I called my girlfriend, right? And I said, oh my God, I'm about to go to jail. They just pulled me over. And she was way out by Gabriel Brothers. I don't know if you guys know New York, but she was way out by Gabriel Brothers. And I was in town on Duke and South Street, and she got there in 5 minutes. Now, when I called her and I asked her, did she run any red lights or was she speeding? Of course, she told me no. But I don't know how you get there in 5 minutes. But I know she was there in 5 minutes because by the time the cop got me out the car, was putting me in the back of his van, she was sitting right there and she was sitting there looking at me crying. And that image of her crying struck me to my core because the last thing I would ever want to do to somebody that loves me is hurt them. Right, so sometimes when I talk to kids and I ask them, who are you loyal to? I know a lot of kids are loyal to their friends or their so-called friends that you meet on Snapchat or your friends that you meet online playing Call of Duty or your friends that you meet playing Roblox. But the reality is sometimes we're loyal to people who aren't necessarily loyal to us, and then our family and our parents and our siblings, the people that will go to hell and back for us, the people that will take a bullet for us, we're not necessarily loyal to us. So one thing I want you guys to think about is who are you loyal for, who are you loyal to, and what are you willing to do for them? Because if you're loyal to your parents, the best way you can pay your parents back is by listening to going to college or listening to being successful. If you're loyal to your siblings, the best way you can pay your siblings back is by keeping them out of trouble. Who are you loyal to? Because if we're loyal to friends that help us to sneak out and help us get in trouble and help us get bad grades and help us skip school, that's not necessarily somebody you want to be connected to. Right? We want to connect ourselves to people that are going to help us get to that next level and help us be successful in life. Because the last thing I would want from any of you guys is to end up in jail. Because I promise you, jail isn't a place that, it's not like what we see on TV where people go to jail and they do all these great things and they be in jail acting crazy. That's not necessarily what happens. Because for the first week, I couldn't even talk to anybody because I had to fill out a piece of paper for somebody to come visit me. I had to fill out a piece of paper for phone calls. I had to fill out a piece of paper for everything. And I was one of the fortunate ones, and I say this because in retrospect, I realized there's this thing called recidivism, which means you repeat. People get out of jail. Do any of you guys know somebody that's been in jail before? Yeah, no. So people get out of jail and they go back to jail, and then they get out of jail and they go back to jail and they get out. It's like a cycle because they haven't learned their lesson yet. Remember what I said? If you don't learn from your mistakes, you'll keep repeating them. So people go back and forth to jail, and in my opinion, it's because they keep getting these county bids. But once you go upstate, it's a whole different ballgame. Right, so when God set me upstate, when God allowed me to go upstate, I went to R Block for 1 week, and R Block is total isolation. So for 7 days straight, they told me I couldn't bring any books, I couldn't bring any papers, I couldn't bring any pencils, I couldn't bring anything. They let me call my girlfriend the first day I got there, and I called her at like 9 at night. She didn't answer. I don't know what she was doing. If you don't answer my call, you ain't doing
Sleep.
But she said she never got the call, so that's neither here nor there. That's water under the bridge, right? She said she never got the call, but all I know is I got upstate, and I wasn't able to talk to her for a whole week. I couldn't even tell her, like, hey, I got here safe. And for a week straight, all I had was a Bible. My cellmate had a Quran, and they gave us paper, and they gave us a pen. So all I could do was literally read the Bible, read the Quran. I talked to my cellmate about the Bible. He talked to me about Islam, and all I could do was pray and write. And I promise you, I probably wrote my wife about 50 letters in a week, because all I could do was write. I wrote at breakfast, I wrote at lunch, I wrote at dinner. I miss you so much, and I sent it out. So I want you guys to think about one thing, right? Because this isn't about me going to jail. It's about what is it that you want from your life. Because believe it or not, females and males both go to jail, right? I seen it in the county when I went to boot camp. There was girls in boot camp. There was boys in boot camp. Everybody can go to jail. Everybody has a falling point, right? Because nobody plans to go to jail. Nobody plans to end up homeless. Nobody plans to end up on drugs. But somehow the population in jail is rising. The homeless population is rising, and there's more substance abusers. So what is it that you want from your life? Because sitting in jail was the first time I had an opportunity where there wasn't a bunch of things to do. All you have in jail was time. So I had an opportunity to actually think, what is it that I want for myself? And one thing was for sure, I didn't want jail. Right, so do me this favor, because I only got a couple more minutes. Do me this favor, close your eyes and think to yourself, what do you see yourself doing 5 years from now, right? Because some of you guys are 17, 16, 15, 14. I know some of you 7th graders are younger. What is it that you see 5 years from now? What is it that you see 10 years from now? And my question, if you can't see what you want 5 or 10 years from now, what don't you want? Right? I hope you guys don't want to be in jail. I hope you don't want to be strung out on drugs. I hope you don't want to end up homeless, end up disappointing yourself. What is it that you want, or what is it that you don't want? All right, so open your eyes. Now we can get to work. Because what I realize is if you don't know what you want, or you do know what you want, either way, you have some work to do. And what I tell people is if you don't know what you want, one shortcut, one cheat, if you don't know what you want, is think about a character on TV that you can emulate, that you can be like. Right, growing up, I used to really watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I know that's like a long, you watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, so it ain't that long, thank God. So I used to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I wanted to be like Uncle Phil. Right, Uncle Phil, he had this great family. I know he changed wives, but it was the same person. But Uncle Phil, he had this great family. He even had enough money to bring his nephew and let his nephew live with him. I was like, you know what? I could be like Uncle Phil. I could be a lawyer. So what do you guys, if you guys don't know what you want to be or don't know what you want to do, what character on TV is it that you could be like? And please don't choose SpongeBob. I know he works a good job and he has a house and a pet, but I don't want you guys to be a cartoon character, all right? Do you know what you want to be? So what cartoon character, well, not cartoon, what TV character would you want to be like? Don't watch TV? Alright, I'll come back to the thing. Let's start on this side. Maybe we'll be hot on this side and then come back. You know what you want to be? What is it? My wife earlier told me I'm losing my hearing, and I'm standing right next to you and I couldn't hear you. Okay, I couldn't hear you. I don't know what you said. A labor what?
A labor and delivery nurse.
A labor and delivery nurse. Oh, okay, I like that. All I heard was a labor and delivery nurse. I like it. What do you want to be?
Administrator.
Administrator? I like it.
A medical professional.
Medical professional? Okay.
Retired.
You said next to the right guy. What do you want to be?
I don't know what job I want to have, but the TV character that I would want to be like would be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I like that. Just don't spray me. Where you want to be? A nurse? interpreter for like what language? Korean? I thought you were gonna say Spanish. I'm practicing my Spanish lately. I thought you were gonna say Spanish. Korean, I like it. Keep thinking. You know what you want to be? An artist? I like it. All right, time is up. Graphic design? I like it. I like it. So the reason it's important to know what you want to be is because if you don't know what you want to be, I promise you, somebody out there has a plan for your life, and there's nothing worse than waking up every day and having to go fulfill somebody else's dream. Right? Believe it or not, they say if you're not on reading level by grade 3, they build another jail cell. Once they get to enough jail cells, let's just say 200, they build a whole new jail. So if you don't know what you want to be, you're contributing to somebody else's success. So it's important, right? Because now every day that you wake up, your actions, right? Because remember what we said earlier, there's people that tell you what to do, and then there's people that show you what to do, right? There's people that say don't smoke weed, but then you go to their house and the whole house smells like weed, right? There's people that say make sure you raise your kids, but then you ask their spouse, and their spouse says they never spend time with your kids, right? We can't allow our actions and our words to betray themselves. So if we know what we want to be every day we wake up, our only job is to make sure the things that we do add up to that thing that we want to be. Because when I got out of jail, the only thing I knew was I didn't want to go back to jail, right? I tried selling drugs. I was an illegal entrepreneur. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. And when I was in middle school, I used to go to the Turkey Hill down the street from my house and get 5 sticks of gum for 30 cents, and I would go to school and I would sell the gum a stick for $1. Right, and all of a sudden I came home when I came with 5, and I'll go back, and I'll get some more, 30 cents, I'll come, and then I started getting the big packs, and I was really killing them. Then I started bringing candy. Like I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, because what I realized for me personally was going to work every single day didn't work for me. Right, because when I got out of jail, my wife told me, she was like, if you want to go sell drugs, me and your daughter's out. And I'm like, out where? I'll work. And I tried it. I won't lie to you. My wife always jokes me and tells me I don't got work experience. I have work experience. Because I went to this factory job for a third shift job called Symposium, and I hated it because I worked for third shift, and I would come home, and her and my daughter would be leaving. By the time they would get home from work at school, I would be going to work. It just didn't work for me. So I quit that job. One thing I was really good at was quitting jobs, I'll tell you that. I quit that job, and I went to a job where I was making kitchen cabinets. Right, the cabinets that you see, I was making kitchen cabinets. And I worked that job long enough to get hired through the company. And you know what happened? The guy that hired me told me when I get hired through the company, I'll get a raise. And I got hired through the company, and I said, hey, what about that raise? And he said, oh, you gotta talk to the owner about that. And I said, hold on a second. I've never seen the owner a day in my life. Who am I supposed to talk to? And he said, well, next time the owner's gonna talk to him. So I went to talk to this other lady, and she said, yeah, I've been working here for 20 years, and I've never gotten a raise. I said, you're the dummy. I ain't been doing this for 20 years. I quit that day. And I went back and I said, man, I gotta get a job. So I got this other job working at a metal fabrication company. And the pay was great because they made us work overtime. Right? Anybody, do you guys know what overtime is? What is it?
Basically, you work longer than what you're supposed to, but you get paid.
Yep. So if you're supposed to work 40 hours a week, anything over 40 hours a week is considered overtime, and they'll pay you more. So the pay was great, but instead of starting our day at 7 o'clock, I started going in at 5 o'clock, which means I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to this job from 5 a.m. to 3:30. And then I started noticing at the job that my boss, if the day was nice, he would literally leave in the middle of the day to go get his motorcycle so he can ride his motorcycle after he gets off. Right? He gave his friend a raise, and his friend started welding and got more money all because of their friendship. And I was like, this isn't really fair. Right? And I know fair is a place that we judge pigs and get funnel cake, but it wasn't really fair to me. So I've learned that if you want something in this life, if you're willing to work for it, I promise you guys you can accomplish and do anything that you set out to be. But if you're willing to make excuses, you're going to find yourself in a very hard life. Because, and I'll end with this, I know I went over a couple minutes and I apologize, but I'll end with this because I promise you guys that people don't plan to end up in jail. And there was these 2 kids in my nonprofit. So when I got out of jail, I started 3 businesses. I have a lawn care business. I started doing this speaking thing, and then I started a nonprofit called the Advantage Program. Actually, all of you guys can join. All of you guys, I think, are older now, right? So all you guys can join if you want. But the Advantage program, I wanted to start exposing these kids and showing everybody like there's more to this life than just York City. So once a month we go on trips to colleges and museums. This summer I'm really excited because the kids who had the best grades are actually taking them to the beach. So I'm really excited about that. I like the beach. I'll be like out swimming with the sharks and stuff. But the thought was that I had to take control of my life because nobody plans on being homeless, nobody plans on being on drugs, nobody plans on going to jail. But the two kids in the Advantage program that got in trouble, I'll never forget their parents asked me to talk to them. So instead of talking to them, I figured I'll show them something, right? Because you can talk to people that goes in one ear and out the other, right? You can talk to people, they listen or they don't listen. But when you show somebody something, that gives them the opportunity to learn and see it for themselves. So do you guys know where the Rapid Transit is downtown? Yes? Yes? No? 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 Yes? No? No? So on Beaver and Market Street, there's the Rapid Transit, the bus station. And a lot of homeless people sleep down there. So I took the one young man and the one young lady down to the transit. It was early in the morning, probably about 7 o'clock. You guys think 7 is early? No? I don't know. People say 7 is early. Some people say they don't wake up early. They don't wake up till 9 o'clock. I don't know what early is. So I took them down at about 7 o'clock and we see these homeless people. And I said, I want you guys to do me a favor. And I asked them a question. I said, what do you guys think happened? And the young man said, I don't know, TP. What do you think happened? By the way, my nickname is TP. It's not for tall people. People like to crack this one. And I said, I don't know what happened. I asked the young lady. She said the same thing. I don't know what happened. Do you know why people end up homeless? Say it again. I like that. A lip here thing. That's the SAT or a lip. So sometimes people lose their job. What about you, Ms. Cooper? If you don't know, it's alright. You don't know? Tavon, do you know why people end up homeless? I like it. You guys heard it? Sometimes they don't listen to their parents, and their parents can come out when they're 8 years old. You know why people end up homeless? You know why people end up homeless?
Maybe they messed up some, and then they just got kicked out.
I like
Or
it.
like they didn't have any income, and they just got kicked out.
I like it.
There can be a lot of different stuff, but sometimes people just get spit out by their work environment and they just kind of give up.
Instead of saying a lot, you say liquid, right? Mental health? Getting evicted? So all of those are true, and like you guys said, there's a lot of reasons. So when we went down there, I didn't know exactly why those people were homeless, so I told the young man and the young lady to ask them. And I said, I'll do you a favor, I'll ask first. So I walked up to a gentleman, and he was there, and I said, excuse me, sir. And he put out his hand, and I said, I don't actually have any money for you. I just wanted some information. What happened? How did you end up in this situation? And he told me that he was a war vet. He served in World War II. And after he served, he came back, and the community didn't give him a job. He was a little crazy. He didn't know what to do. And he ended up on drugs and ended up homeless. I said, thank you so much for your time. So I told the guys, like, you got the next person. So he walked up to a lady, and he said to the lady, he said, excuse me, man, what happened? How did you end up homeless? And the girl said that she just got out of jail for the 3rd time. Her family didn't want anything to do with her, and she couldn't get a job, so she sleeps here. He said, thank you very much. And then it was the girl's turn, so she went up to somebody, and she said, excuse me, how did you end up homeless? And the person said that their wife died in a car accident with their kid, and they didn't know what to do, so they started using drugs, and now they sleep here. You see, what I've learned is, like I said earlier, everybody goes through opposition, struggle, adversity. Everybody goes through something. But the reality of the situation is how you react to those things you go through ultimately dictate what kind of person you are. Because it's very easy to find yourself homeless on drugs or in jail, but it's very hard to find yourself successful in that life that you envision for yourself. So the only thing I ask for you guys is I don't really like asking things of kids, but the only thing I ask for you guys is when you close your eyes and you envision what you wanted to be or what you didn't want to be, every day you wake up, you work towards that thing, because if not, the inevitable will happen. Do you guys think that's something that's in your control to do? Because I'm a firm believer that you don't get what you wish for in this life, you get what you work for. And as long as you guys are willing to work for your success, I promise you anything that you ever want to do in this life, you guys will be able to do. All right, my name is Tavon Parker. Thank you guys for your time.